is Claire.
Hi.
Claire, would you mind looking after this for me while I pop out? I'll eat it when I get back. See you. Bye.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Bye.
Claire loves custard creams.
I do.
Claire also recently completed the REACH Framework for Coaching Conversations course, and now she's an expert listener. Aren't you, Claire? Claire? Claire!
What? Sorry. What?
Claire, would you help me describe the REACH Framework for these lovely people?
Oh, yes, of course.
What can you remember about the framework?
So, central to REACH is dynamic contracting. Then there's R, reflect. E, explore. A, agree outcomes. C, commit to action. And H, hold to account. Oh, and whilst I remember, during the conversation, you don't necessarily have to do them in that order.
That's right. Each letter represents a stage of the conversation, but the framework is not linear and the conversation can move backwards and forwards between phases. I'll explain it in more detail later on. Right, let's put you in a scenario. Let's imagine that a colleague wants to talk to you about a problem they're having.
Leon?
I really want to talk to you about a problem I'm having, Claire.
Okay, I've got 10 minutes now. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, what is it that you want to talk to me about?
I'm finding it really difficult to work with Tony.
Okay, so you're coming to me with a problem about Tony. At the end of this 10 minutes, where would you like to be?
Well, I want to sort it out. And you're a good person to talk to since you've been here a lot longer than I have.
Okay, so it sounds like you want to use this time to think about your problem with Tony and how to move forward.
Yeah, that's right.
What is it that's so difficult about working with Tony?
Well, I've been here a year now, and I've got lots of ideas on how to improve things. But every time I suggest something, Tony just shuts me down. It's frustrating. It's knocking my confidence, and I don't know what to do.
It's knocking your confidence. So how does that affect your work?
Well, I'm starting not to enjoy the job. Tony's quite influential in the team, and I worry it's impacting how others are seeing me as well. I get anxious before team meetings because I know my ideas aren't being heard, and I'm starting to wonder, what's the point?
What's the point? So it's actually having an impact on your motivation.
I'm finding it really hard at the moment.
Can you tell me about what a past conversation with Tony sounds like?
It's like he challenges every suggestion I make. I find it embarrassing when he shuts me down like that. So when he asks me questions about my ideas, I find that my responses are a bit defensive.
So what could a different response look like?
I could answer the question, I suppose. Try and remain calmer, take a deep breath, and try to take it as less of an attack on me personally.
Okay. Well, I can see how important this issue is to you and just how much you want to resolve it.
I really do.
Any thoughts on what might help?
Maybe I could try and talk to him. I mean, I feel uncomfortable talking to him with other people around. Perhaps I could speak to him in private.
And saying that out loud and thinking about that now, how does that make you feel?
I could do that. Might work.
Leon, would you like a custard cream? Don't worry about offering it to Claire. She's already had hers.
Thank you very much.
So, So, it sounds like speaking to Tony in private is a possible way forward. How might you make that happen?
Well, we have a team meeting every Monday afternoon. I suppose maybe in the morning before that, or perhaps after the meeting.
Okay, and how confident do you feel about approaching Tony?
It'd be a bit nerve-wracking. Yeah, I could try. It would just be about talking to him on his own and trying to remain calm. I'd just get defensive.
What might you say to Tony?
I know what I'd like to say to Tony. Have you seen my biscuit?
No.
Well, I suppose I could say to him, I've been thinking a lot about what we actually do. I've got a lot of ideas on how we can improve the service. But it's not going to happen, though, if I can't work this out with Tony.
So you're saying that you're going to have to create an opportunity to speak to Tony. Let me pin you down on that. When might that happen?
Well, as soon as possible. It'd be great to have the conversation with Tony this coming Monday if he's free.
Right, so now you know what you want to say and when you want to say it.
Yeah, suppose I do.
Okay, so what might the outcomes be of you seeing this through?
Well, loads of things. I mean, it'd be great to be excited about work again and to share my ideas and feel differently about mine and Tony's relationship.
Great. So it sounds like you're feeling really positive about all the possibilities. How do you want to go about keeping me in the loop?
Well, I suppose I can come and see you again after we've spoken.
Absolutely. I'm happy to speak to you once you've spoken to Tony.
Really? All right, great.
Great. Well, that's the end of our 10 minutes. Best of luck with it.
Thanks, Claire. Really appreciate it.
Wow, well done, Claire.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome.
Let's look again at examples of how you used the REACH framework to guide the conversation.
Okay, great. Let's do it.
I really want to talk to you about a problem I'm having, Claire.
Okay, I've got 10 minutes now. Is that okay?
Yeah.
By placing a timescale on the conversation, you're managing Leon, or the coachee's, expectations. It can also help the flow of the conversation to know from the outset when it needs to finish. Let's look at the next clip.
Okay, what is it that you want to talk to me about?
I'm finding it really difficult to work with Tony.
R for reflect. A process which considers the coachee's experience using active listening skills to connect thoughts and feelings. This involves seeking information and checking understanding.
What is it that's so difficult about working with Tony?
Here, you are helping the coachee to explore their situation in greater detail by asking open questions. In coaching conversations, we do not provide the answers. Instead, we provide a framework to help the person discover their own way of dealing with their situation. Next!
So, it sounds like speaking to Tony in private is a possible way forward. How might you make that happen?
Here, you help focus the conversation and agree the desired result.
So you're saying that you're going to have to create an opportunity to speak to Tony. Let me pin you down on that. When might that happen?
Well, as soon as possible. It'd be great to have the conversation with Tony this coming Monday if he's free.
In this scene, you are helping the coachee to define the action that needs to be taken. It's important to think about who is taking action and when they are doing so.
Great. So it sounds like you're feeling really positive about all the possibilities. How do you want to go about keeping me in the loop?
Well, I suppose I can come and see you again after we've spoken.
Holding to account means the coachee takes responsibility for following through with his ideas. It's also about helping him to reflect on the consequences of achieving or not achieving the outcomes. And that was the REACH framework. See you next time. Oh, and one last thing, Claire.
Yes!